I'm Mike. I'm going to show you how to put this in this. Hi everybody. Today we'll be installing the HYDRO3 on a Jeep Wrangler JK Sport. However, the HYDRO3 can be installed in any vehicle as long as there's enough room behind the body panel to accommodate the insert. Now onto the install. First thing you're going to want to do is check to make sure that all the parts listed on the directions are included in your kit. Start by removing the tail light. This will give you access to the open area behind the insert. Next, you're going to want to tape off the rear corner panel where the insert is to be installed. Make sure you get enough tape around the backside by the tail light. This will ensure no scratching to the area as you're cutting out. Next, cut out the template. Be sure to cut out the inside template with a razor blade as clean as possible and save this piece for later. Next, you're going to want to mark the body line on the top and the rear side. You will use this line to measure down from the top 2 3/8. Mark your lines from the back side over 1 inch. This will give you your inside cut line. Tape on the template. Trace the inside lines of the template as this will give you your cut line. Once this is done, use a small sharp punch to mark your drill holes for the nut rivets. Next, you're going to want to put the inside piece of the template that you had cut out earlier in place and punch the holes for the hole saw. Next, you're going to want to drill the nut rivet holes with a 3/8 drill bit. Next, cut the holes with a sharp 1-inch hole saw. I use a 1-inch hole saw because then I know when I'm getting close to the edge of the cut. Cut the cut line with a cutoff tool. Once the outside of the body panel is removed, cut the inside of the body panel using a straight edge to transfer the line to the inside of the body panel to accommodate the insert. Now fit the insert to see if the edges need trimming.
Maybe this edge over here.
Remove the tape and clean the edges to remove any burrs. Then paint the cut edges with rust-resistant paint to prevent rusting in the future. Now insert the nut rivets. Cut 3 lines of PEX tubing at 3 inches and 3 lines of PEX tubing at 13 inches and loosely fit them without crimping. Test the insert with the tubing in place. If the tubing needs any adjustments, do so at this time. Use the PEX 90s to connect the 3-inch pieces to the 13-inch pieces of tubing. Test the insert with the tubing in place. Then crimp the rings, starting from the insert and working your way out. Now set the insert in place with the gasket unsecured. Now move to the front of the vehicle to install the heat exchanger. Remove the inner fender in order to access the optimal location to install the heat exchanger. Depending on your vehicle year, you may have to adjust a wiring plug or remove a stud welded on to hold on the heat shield. Set the heat exchanger in place and mark the holes for the heat exchanger mounting bracket. Now drill the mounting holes using a 1/4-inch drill bit and secure the heat exchanger using the provided hardware. Next, run the PEX tubing line from the heat exchanger to the back of the Jeep. We chose to run them along the frame. Before you secure the heat exchanger, wrap the plumbing near the exhaust in protective heat tape for protection. Drain down your radiator fluid or clamp off the hoses so fluid doesn't leak. We chose to clamp ours. Make sure the engine and coolant is cooled down. Disconnect your heater hose from the engine block. Now take that hose, connect to the heat exchanger. And from the other end of the heat exchanger, reconnect the heater hose to the engine block. Tighten all hose clamps, secure heater hose, and top off the radiator. Choose a location to mount the water pump and provide an inline drain. For this project, we chose the rear cargo area. If you are mounting inside the vehicle, you will need to drill 3 7/8 holes to run the tubing. When connecting the water pump, the blue PEX tubing will be connected to the discharge from the water pump. It will then split and run to the heat exchanger and the cold water side of the insert. The PEX tubing will run from the heat exchanger to the hot water side of the insert. The tubing for the suction line of the pump will run back to the cam locked adapter for your suction hose. This should be mounted in an accessible location with the provided bracket. We chose the driver's side rear wheel well. After the final PEX tubing connections are done, secure the insert to the body of your vehicle with the stainless steel Allen head bolts provided. Next, wire the pump to the switch of your choice. Finally, check all your connections, test the system, head out on the trail. For details on assembling the suction line, refer to the directions that came with the HYDRO3 kit. For more information on MegaMikes products, go to megamikes.com.